Hey guys, this is Turk72. So, I want to be sure that we don't forget what happened in the second Fort Hood shooting. I did a video on a topic earlier, and then the whole Bundy thing happens, and this thing is totally out of the news. I was scouring the internet, and apparently there's no new headlines on this story since about April 7th. So now I'm sure the military wants to totally bury this, and I'm sure has no interest to the media because it's a case for rearming our troops again. But I just want to make sure this hasn't been forgotten, and I'm going to make some, general statements about our military readiness. Again, I don't want to diss anyone that's currently or formerly in the military, especially those who are overseas, but I'm mainly going to make some comments about the commanders and our recent history of laws that have happened in the past 20 years. And, I'm an outsider as far as military goes. I've known a few people who have been in the military, some good friends of mine, one that's still in the military. And if you think I'm off base on some of my comments, let me know. But I just want to make a statement that I think our domestic military bases are basically not ready for any type of attack. So what we've seen with Nidal Hasan, Aaron Alexis, and this Ivan Lopez guy, as I've discussed before, is these guys aren't particularly trained. They don't have the best plan. I mean, these things are obviously premeditated, but these guys are basically, crackpots with average or even shoddy weapons. As you see in my previous video, the weapon Aaron Alexis had was just a beat up Remington 870 that was crudely sawed off at the stock. So, I mean, my purpose of this video is to not, to have our military domestic bases be ready for something. I mean, just imagine if there was actually an organized attack. I mean, if even 20 organized guys with milsurps could slaughter these places, they could kill at least 300 people. So let's go back in the history. Generally, conservatives blame Clinton for the disarmament of our military bases. Actually, a lot of it did become implemented during the Clinton era. But some of these directives actually started, under Bush Sr. And his, defense secretary initiating some of these things. And so really putting this blame on a Democratic or Republican administration, I don't really care. I just want our military, bases to be ready, and obviously they're not. And these commanders, I don't think they really care. If 20 people get shot up a year, I don't think that's really going to make a difference to them, and they are just going to keep doing the same thing over and over again. And as long as they get to collect their pensions, I think everything will be just fine. Excuse me a second. So again, this General Mark Milley, at least he was willing to answer some questions when someone asked him, about soldiers being able to concealed carry on base. He basically did not want to discuss it. And, I'm somewhat okay with that. I know at least with domestic base, certainly foreign bases, they may not be able to carry, defensive ammunition, due to the Geneva Convention, where they have to have ball ammo, and if you had personal guns on base, then they might have to all be checked and so forth. And I'm somewhat okay with that, but nobody is bringing up open carry, and I think that would be a pretty good solution. And I know there is a commanders have been, blown away by subordinates, but, basically our commanders need to, grow up here, and they need to care, and we need to have our military be ready to defend ourselves from some kind of force. So I think open carry would be a very good solution. Right now it's pretty much, just like concealed carry, they bottleneck it. The commanders may be able to, recommend, it's a privilege. They have to talk to their commanders to be able to carry weapons, but you can put some limitations on it, but I think generally, everyone should be able to open carry unless they're, proven that they're, just not ready for it. You can make it voluntary if you want, and you can take away the privilege, but in general, I think everyone should be armed. Anyway, this video might be going a bit long, but please stay with me. So here's a picture. This is from the Fort Hood Sentinel, which is basically the Fort Hood newspaper. And here is the 1st Cavalry Division. So, what we know about the cavalry is they are soldiers on horseback. And oh, whoa, look, a couple of them have swords. But are these guys armed? No, they're not. So, let's take a look at a cavalry of some of the past. All right. Here is the French cavalry of 1807. They all pretty much look armed to me. So I think it's just this culture now that people none of our soldiers are used to being armed. And I think it's very dangerous. Here's another Fort Hood Sentinel photo. These are the military police. They're getting an award for maintenance excellence. So, notice anything wrong with this picture? Yeah, nobody is armed. I'm sure all the guns are safe and tidy, locked away behind triple locked rooms. And unloaded where no one can reasonably get to them in any type of situation. Again, there's multiple photos here of soldiers, not being armed. Here's another Fort Hood Sentinel photo. Okay. This is a guy in sniper training. So yes, The guy on the left, he's active sniper. He's got his appropriate camo. He's got the M14. The guy on the right, yes, he's competing to be a sniper. Look at him. He's got inappropriate camo. He's got his walkie. I mean, he's got nothing. I mean, at least give him a Red Ryder or something just to pretend he can play along. But again, this seems to be a theme. Even people in training, they don't have guns. Here's guys from the military police. I see they have helmets. Some of them could have guns, but they have nice little vests, but I don't see that people have their sidearms or anything. And again, the only apparent measures that they have taken since the first Fort Hood shooting is they got a few more MPs, and the MPs have, long guns instead of sidearms. So, and still, Ivan Lopez, again, had at least 8 minutes and fired 35 rounds. And he had no particular plan. Again, here's the MPs training. Look, they have some type of helmet / gas mask type of thing, but look at these guys. This guy's got looks like an oversized sweatshirt from Old Navy and some khakis. I mean, that's him. He's he's got a blue gun, which is fine. I mean, he's training. But, look at him. He's all tacked out in his Old Navy gear, holding his blue gun sideways. So this is it. This is the MP training. And these guys over here, again, it's more MP training. Doesn't like any of these guys have sidearms or any type of guns. Who are they being trained by? The Rapid Response Training Center of Texas State University. And look at this here. Okay, none of these guys have arms. So wait. Let me see here. I can get a little closer. I'm gonna have to. Whoa! What's that? Is that a sidearm? Oh my goodness. So maybe there's one guy in the class with a sidearm. I wonder if it's the first one that they've ever seen. So again, I'm sorry to. I'm just making a statement about our military readiness. I'm sure the newbies in my CCW class could probably liquidate this room in about 3 seconds. Nobody's armed except for maybe this guy. Again, for those of you who don't know, Ivan Lopez. So he drove. I don't have pictures of it, so just deal with me for a little bit. He drove onto the base, and he went to some type of administrative center where he was asking for leave. And yes, he already was already kind of dissed by the the processing center before, when he asked for leave for his mother in Puerto Rico. And he initially only received 1 day for bereavement, and then he was granted an additional day. So, I can understand how Ivan Lopez was upset. But on the day of the attack, he drove with his personal vehicle and his .45 Smith & Wesson, and he drove up to the administrative center. He went in there, shot some people, got back in his car, drove slowly to his, I believe the post where he worked at. Shooting soldiers along the way from his car. Again, driving slowly. And then he went to, into the place, his post. He shot some more people. Let me see if I can get a picture of Ivan Lopez here. Shot some more people, drove in his car again, and he went to the military hospital and shot some people there again. Anyway, looks like my internet's not going to work, but so he shot some more people there again, and apparently he went outside. I don't know if he was going to go get in his car again or not. And at that point, he was encountered by the military police with a long gun, and he killed himself. So again, he'd spended at least 35 rounds. So obviously a premeditated attack. Obviously he had a gun and probably 4 magazines on him at least. And that's what he did. So there's 4 killed and I believe 14 to 16 injured. So obviously he had quite a bit of free reign. Now, the military directive that was recently put in place, well, not recently, I guess under Clinton in 92, probably written in 92, implemented in 93. It's kind of vague. It just says that people who can't have arms must be, actively policing or, defending a vital asset. I think pretty much every, base, has a vital asset, and certainly our soldiers are vital assets. And I just think, a good solution would be, some sidearms at least. I think perhaps some revolvers, 6-inch barrel revolvers. Then you don't have to worry about, losing magazines. They're easy to maintain. If you have a big, revolver with a 6-inch barrel, it's probably, pretty unlikely that, someone's going to accidentally, take off base this huge chunk of steel. So, I think 357s be good. Then people can choose, what load they want, if they want 357 or, 38 special, depending on their, having a problem with my internet here. Depending on what load they're comfortable with. And, also, obviously, sexual assaults and rapes are still a huge problem in the military that I'm sure nobody wants to talk about. But if everyone had one of these, I think they would go down a little bit. And there's some people, I was reading some comments on the internet, and they said, people at these domestic bases, they get drunk and there's bar fights and so forth. To be honest, I don't think shootouts would happen. Maybe you guys in the military know, maybe if you're active or were in the past. Let me know what you think about this. But I think basically deep down people don't want to die, and I think they would be, fairly restrained from using their weapon in a bar fight. Because basically, when it comes down to it, people know what they can afford to do. often in bar fights, you pick on someone who's as big or smaller than you. It's quite infrequent when people fly off the handle and hit someone that's bigger than them. So forth. If someone was 180 pounds, they don't suddenly fly off the handle and punch someone in the jaw who's looks like a 300-pound lineman. It just doesn't happen, and because people don't want to die and they don't want to be seriously injured. And I think kind of the same thing can be applied to people who carry arms on base or into a bar, who people may or not be involved in a gunfight. So and again, I think one of the big problems is that the military commanders need to grow a pair, and they need to actually train their own troops, and our troops need to be somewhat familiar with guns. They need to be used to having guns on their side. And so those are my thoughts, and this is probably my longest video. Let me know what you think. If you think I'm off base, pardon the pun. Again, I'm an outsider on this. Never been in the military. Let me know what your comments are, especially if you're active or former duty. Let me know what you think of people carrying sidearms on base. I think pretty much everyone should have one unless they are, proven that they, can't handle it, or they shouldn't have one. So instead, the other way around, instead of making a privilege, I think it, absolute privilege that is granted, I think it should be, something that is yours to lose, something that you should have and only be taken away if you have proven to be irresponsible. So that's it. Those are my thoughts. This is Trick 72 out.